All right, calm down, Bill. I don't want to get up there. I'm over your head, don't worry.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Test.
Mike? Lay down. Thank you.
Calling the meeting to order. This meeting is being posted and announced according to Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Mr. Demko, please call the roll.
Mr. Barrera? Here. Mr. Kugler? Mrs. Lamparello?
Here.
Mrs. Torres?
Present.
Mr. Valon?
Present.
Ms. Dolan?
Here.
And Mr. Rivera.
Present. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the February 22nd public meeting?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none.
Mr. Barrera?
Aye. No, none.
Mrs. Lamparello? Mrs. Torres? Mr. Valon?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan? And Mr. Rivera.
Yes. We have a representative from the student government organization tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jessica Cison, and I'm a Student Government Organization parliamentarian. On March 17th, 18th, and 19th, the BHS Theater Arts Company presented Into the Woods in the Connie Francis Theater. Congratulations to the talented cast and crew who put so much dedication into their performances, especially the teachers, Ms. Lombardi, Ms. Kernan, Mrs. Tag, Mr. Ori, and Mr. Gashio. Thank you for putting on an incredible show. Furthermore, 16 girls from the Belleville High School softball team went to Florida for their spring training from March 15 to March 20, where they played a total of 6 games. On March 29, the National Honor Society will be going on a trip to volunteer at the Community Food Bank Center. On the same day, FBLA will be going on a trip to Wall Street. They will be visiting the New York Federal Reserve Bank and the Museum of American Finance to learn important assets concerning finance and marketing. In addition, the SGA will be hosting a spring blood drive on May 18th that will be sponsored by the American Red Cross. Finally, next week on March 28th through April 1st, the SGA will be hosting a Spirit Week in which students have the opportunity to dress down based on different themes. Thank you, and that is all from SGA.
Thank you. We have a presentation by G. Rubino, the architect, and El Grab, bond counsel, bidding on financing the installation of boilers at the high school. It's really great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board. I'm Jerry Rubino, principal of the firm Takara Rubino Architects. We're here tonight just to give you, the board, a report of where we are with the boiler replacement project at the middle school and school in Lorraine. We did take bids. We did receive 6 bids from 6 qualified contractors. I do want to indicate that at this point, all 6 contractors are below, significantly below budget. At this point, our office is working with the board attorney just to make sure all the paperwork, that the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and it is our plan to come back to the board and make a final recommendation as to the contractor to get the award. As you may or may not know, the project is going to include the demolition of the existing boilers, the replacement of them, and the schedule is for the boilers to be completed by the beginning of October. And then at the beginning of October, we'll start disassembling and removing the 2 temporary boilers that are currently on the site. If there's any questions that the board may have, before Lisa comes up to discuss the next part of that project.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lisa Gorab. I am from Lentz, Goldman & Spitzer, and I'm your bond attorney. And you have a resolution that you will be considering this evening, and that resolution will allow that project that Mr. Rubino just described, the boiler project, to be financed with a lease purchase agreement over 5 years. The lease will be issued in an amount that would just pay for the boiler, no boilers, no more, no less. It'll be financed over a 5-year period. We are seeking proposals for the interest rate on that lease. And once we receive those, the lowest interest rate proposal would be the proposal that we would agree to. Prior to the adoption of this resolution, the board is required to hold a public hearing specifically on the boiler replacement and the lease purchase. So if you would like to open the public hearing, accept any comments, I'm happy to answer any comments, and then the resolution can be adopted.
Thank you. We're going to open up for public comment on this resolution. If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak in this matter, please come forward, state your name, municipality, residence, and group affiliation. Mr. Frantantoni? Sir, please come forward.
Good evening, administrators and elected officials. It's just one question I have with this project. I have several pages of bid requests by different towns for all kinds of projects, and I'm very familiar with bid requests and all that. What I want to know is why did Belleville put the dollar amount in their bid? I mean, you want to put boilers in, wait till the people come in with their bids. Why did we put in $2.4 million in a bid? I've never seen this in any bid done like that.
Thank you. I placed those bids, and those bids were not for the boilers. Those bids were just to give banks an estimate of the not-to-exceed amount for any lease purchase. So the board will be financing less than that. So those proposals for the interest rate are separate and apart from the bid for the construction of the boilers. The law requires we put that amount in, the maximum amount.
Right, well then, I think it would have been more fruitful if we were, more practical rather, if we would wait for the bids to come in and then see how much we had to go out to bid for. I mean, you know, these big companies, they're smart, they got people looking at it. So we told them how much money we got ready to go there. So I disagree respectfully with the attorney, and again, I've never seen that before. So we don't give away, you know, you don't go to a contractor, look, I got $50,000 in my kitchen, can you do it for that? So I think we should have done that a little bit better.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come forward? Moving on. Okay, may I have a motion on D, purchasing and business services? We're just going to do the second issue. For D7, may I have a motion, please?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Mr. Democrat?
Mr. Pereira?
No.
Mrs. Lamparello?
Yes.
Mrs. Torres?
Yes.
Mr. Milan?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
And Mr. Rivera?
Yes. Okay, moving on to items to be presented by administration. Dr. Tonka.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. This is a great evening. We get to recognize our teachers and professional educational specialists of the year. I welcome all of you tonight, and I'm honored to stand here before these individuals and appreciate all they do for our students in our district. I'm glad you're here to celebrate that as well. What we are going to do is call up the building principal or designee, because I know we have one or two principals that are out, and we will have them present with Mr. Rivera the recognition tonight. So if we could have, I believe Mr. Klein is going to speak to Mr. Rhodes. Mr. Rhodes, I guess I could say, pulled his back pretty bad. For those of you in his building know what I'm talking about. He tried to make it throughout the day, but he's somewhere in traction, I think, right now. So we'd like Mr. Klein to come up and talk about School 3, both individuals.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Rhodes called me about an hour ago, and he went from the chiropractor to the doctor. I think he's pretty doped up right now on muscle relaxers, so he said he definitely wouldn't be a good influence if he was here right now. But he did ask me to say some words for two fantastic professionals, both of whom that I know closely because I've been in the building, school number 3, for a long time. Suzanne DiGiovanni, she's a first grade teacher at School 3. For anybody who knows her, the best way really to describe her would be vivacious. It doesn't matter where you are, whether it be before school, during school, after school, at happy hour. She's always there with a passion, and she just wants to have fun, and she's committed to the cause. She's an individual that if you need some assistance, with whatever it be, before school, during school, after school, she's always there, and she's always going to be working with a smile. She's fantastic. Is she here? I haven't seen. Suzanne, come on up, Suzanne. Come on up. And then Liz Spirito is somebody that when I started in the district, she introduced me, and she's kept that same personality the whole way through. Liz is somebody that no matter what the situation is, the principal always knows to call her first and foremost. She serves on every possible committee that is out there, whether it's paid or not paid. She's always there. In fact, when the principal at School 3 last year moved to another building, the first thing she asked was, can I please have Liz in some capacity to help out over at School 7? So when I reached out to Liz, before I could even ask her, she actually volunteered. She's that type of individual. I shared an office with her for, I don't even know, probably feels longer for her than me, but I would say at least 10 years. She's fantastic. I haven't seen her here. There she is. She's going to come on up and smile the whole way. These two, one more, round of applause for these two. Now I'm gonna bring up Ms. Cavallo, who has a couple other professionals that she'd like to honor.
I want to apologize. I dropped my book coming in here, and these were a little out of order, so I apologize. Come here.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. First, let me say that I am honored to be at School 4. I love my School 4 staff. Middle school, I miss you wherever you are. I just wanted to say hello to you wherever you are. Paula, my governor's teacher of the year. It was my pleasure meeting you this year. I walked in, I knew no one, and I'm going to keep it short, I promise, but I knew no one this year. I walked in there, and you greeted me with your smile. You greeted me with all your characteristics that you bring to the table. Okay? And with that, we bonded with our children. We bonded with our migraines. We bonded with how much Our husbands get on our nerves. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, husband. And we bonded with the fact that how much we love to teach children. Okay? And what you do every day is amazing. You do this on a daily basis. What you do with your colleagues is incredible. It's just incredible. You go above and beyond daily. Even when that head is banging a million miles an hour, and I know how it feels. You're just one in a million. And it's my pleasure to work with someone like you. And you are one of Belleville's finest, 15 years, so it's my pleasure. Now, I have another one of Belleville's finest, who has given 25 years of her service to Belleville. This is hard for me because I've only known her 4 years. I've worked with her for 2 years at the middle school. And then she left me. And then I left the middle school, and then we were reunited again. Wow, that was great. And I'm able to work with her this year. And what you do, Miss Moran, is incredible. What you do on a daily basis with the children. It doesn't matter if they're 5 years old in kindergarten or all the way to 8th grade. Whether they're putting chicken nuggets in their pocket, and they're doing it, or they're having some, what we call real world problems, all the way up to 8th grade. So with that, I'm going to miss you terribly because not that everybody knows, and I know it's approved somewhere in there, but I know. I'm sorry, I just spilled it. I know everybody knows you're leaving, sorry. I'm going to miss you terribly because you are one in a million as well, and I am such a lucky, lucky person to have worked with you. And so is Bella. So congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. It's no secret to anyone that knows about School 5 how close we are. We're really a family, and my staff is just incredible. So each year when one of my staff members gets recognized, it's just something that it just has to be, because they're stellar. Every single one of them is stellar. This year, I am so honored to recognize, we are so honored at School 5 to recognize my 3rd grade teacher, Heather Sonjan, as the Teacher of the Year. She's not only an ELA teacher, she's a specialist. She's my head teacher in the morning. I don't know what I would do without her. She's professional, she's collegial, she's passionate. She never, ever, ever complains about anything, no matter how hard the day goes. And that's the truth. And I could say that it's a pleasure to be her boss, but I'd rather say it's a pleasure to be her friend. I am so privileged to work with her, someone of her caliber, and I just love her. I only know her about 5 years because that's as long as I've been at School 5, but I feel like I've known her all my life. Heather, please come up here and get this wonderful award that you so richly deserve. My educational services professional is Mary Ann Ross, and she is so much more than that. She is one of the most phenomenal teacher's aides I have ever seen. She's been in the district for several years. I worked with her at number 9, and now I'm privileged again to work with her at number 5. She is so much more than a teacher's aide. She is so much more. And she is passionate, and she is loving and giving and gives 100% of herself every single day. Marian, congratulations. Please come up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lucy Demikoff, and I too cannot tell you in mere words how honored and blessed I feel to truly be the principal of school number 7. This is my first year at number 7, so I did have the pleasure and the honor to meet some very, very fine, Belleville's finest educators. Our Governor Educator of the Year this year for 2015-16 is Jackie Frantantoni. Jackie, it's almost impossible to sum this up in a few words because Jackie is an inspiration to all. Me as her principal, her colleagues, who, by the way, at school number 7 are also a group of the most high-performing teachers I have ever come in contact with. And I think there really is no greater honor or recognition that an individual can receive than to earn the respect, the honesty. She's a go-to person. And she has earned that from her colleagues at school number 7. Jackie, please come up. We love you, Jackie. You truly deserve this tonight. Congratulations. You are loved by the students, the faculty, the teachers, and I love you as your administrator. Okay, moving on to our Governor Service Professional is Mrs. Brenda Pacheco. She is a paraprofessional in school number 7, and once again, I can go on and on about Brenda. She does a phenomenal job for us in the classroom, in our preschool classroom, in our lunchroom. If I have to step out of the lunchroom for a moment, I know she has my back. She is there for the children. I can't tell you how many compliments come in on a daily basis about how well Mrs. Pacheco takes care of our student population. We love you, Mrs. Pacheco. You do a wonderful job for us at number 7. Please come.
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to say that it's really nice to see all of you out here tonight. I see so many friendly faces, and it's always a pleasure to see them again. I would like to, at this time, also congratulate all of the Teacher of the Year recipients. From my experiences here in Belleville, I have met many wonderful people, and tonight just exemplifies just a small portion of who they are. But once again, congratulations. Tonight we have two recipients. The first, our classroom teacher. How do you describe the teacher's teacher? How do you describe the consummate professional? Well, we know certain things about her. Her classroom environment is characterized by respect and rapport. Her lessons are informative yet engaging. Her students love her. They learn and enjoy coming to the class daily. In between instruction, she is kind, caring, personable, and thoughtful. I am pleased to introduce Joanne DeVito. Our school nurse is also being honored tonight. Her office entrance tends to be a revolving door. Students stream out, stream in, for a variety of ailments. A skinned knee, a stomach ache, a runny nose, and many times with tears. Yeah, everyone is important, and everyone leaves well treated and comforted. A woman, a knowledgeable woman, a woman of great compassion, a respected colleague. We are pleased to honor Jennifer Alvarez.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I just rounded out day 3 at school number 9. So, our honoree tonight is Elaine Hudak. And she was the first person to come up to me my first day on Thursday and said, if you need anything, I'm there for you. The joke going today was, Elaine, all day, was, Elaine, I'm going to try to find some person to say something nice about you. And it went on all day, and I'm still looking. But we would be here till April 18th if I could say all the things that people said about you. You're caring, you're loving, the kids care about you, you help administration, you help your fellow teachers, and I can say this is a very, very deserving award. So can you please come up and accept your award?
Good evening, everyone. I'm very humbled and honored to be the acting principal over at school number 10. And the Governor's Teacher of the Year for Belleville for school number 10 is an incredible individual. He has a rapport with the students unlike I've never seen. He commands respect, and yet the students really love him. He's caring, kind, considerate, and I could go on and on. One of the things I like about him most, he's like the quiet man. few words are spoken, but when he does speak, I listen carefully. And so with that, I bring up to the podium Mr. Charlie Moran. Also at school number 10, and we know that sometimes we shared services, like this next individual happens to be at 9 and 10. She's been in the district a long time. She also does an amazing, amazing job. Very few people could do what she does. Incredible in that she does and gives students the ability to speak when they have difficulty speaking. And so I bring up Ms. Janice Ferrero.
It is my pleasure to not only be the principal at Belleville Middle School and to work with such a wonderful group of colleagues. However, I'm also, as a former English teacher, that's where my real passion is. So it is with even more pleasure that I get to introduce to all of you Lauren Fazio. She is 8th grade. ELA teacher and was one of the first people that I met over the summer who introduced me to the district, to the school. And not only is she dedicated and loves her students, but more importantly, she is willing to take risks in the classroom. She is willing to bring things to the table, whether it be technology or new ideas. And more importantly than doing them in her classroom, she's willing to share them with others and let others see what she's doing. She's always willing to let people come into her room. This year, in addition to her primary position as an English teacher, she also serves as a team leader. She is a tutoring club advisor. She's always bringing new ideas to the table. And even tonight, you'll see that she and another colleague are working on an Art After Hours program, which we are excited to bring to Belleville Middle School. Lauren's passion for language arts and her passion for the students are obvious in all that she does. And we'd like to congratulate her on this huge honor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'm Russ Pagano, high school principal. I have a terrific staff here. This was one of the years that we had the most people recommended for both Teacher of the Year for the governor and also the Educational Service Professional of the Year. This year it goes to Miss Jenna Dubuque as the Educational Services Professional of the Year. She's a 1999. She's a 1999 alumni of Belleville High School. She graduated from Montclair State University in 2004. with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology. She continued her education at Cornwall College, where she earned a Master's of Arts in Counseling. She returned back to Belleville High School in 2007, where she was hired as the guidance counselor here. She's currently working on her PhD in counseling at Walden University. She is also an adjunct professor at Cornwall University. She's the organizer of project graduation here at Belleville. I kind of roped her into helping Mr. Politano with the Mr. and Miss Belleville. She goes way beyond what is called for her each day to help our students and our teachers here at Belleville High School. So I would like to bring Jenna Dubuque to the front. We also have a tradition here at Belleville that we give them a special ID. This ID has, that she is the professional of the year. She also received the Belleville pin. Our teacher of the year is unique. It's Mr. Bart. He's a graduate from Central Connecticut State University. I don't know how many of you know Mr. Bart. He was in the private sector for many years as a trade manager, sales manager, national accounts manager. He left all that because he wanted to be with children. So in 2005, he left the private sector and started his career in education. He started as a substitute teacher first, then to a paraprofessional for several districts for several years. In 2009, Mr. Bart received his master's degree in education from the College of St. Elizabeth. In 2011, Mr. Bart was hired by the Belleville Board of Education to teach business. In June, or actually prior to June, Mr. Bart had a private conversation with me, and I had Mr. Bart's permission to talk to you right now about this. I wouldn't do it unless I did. He has a serious illness that he had to be out probably a little part of June, and he made it a little part of June. Some of us would have took longer. He was out the whole summer. He came back, he pushed himself all summer, he came back September so he could be here with the children. Most people would still be out today, but Mr. Bart had the desire, the dedication, and the drive to make sure our kids had an educator in front of them. So, you know that Charlotte Danielson, we all live in the effective? Well, Jenna and Mr. Bart definitely live in the highly effective. Come on. Fortunately, I get to stay up here one more time. Everyone knows Ms. Strano. Ms. Strano is our driver's ed teacher here at the high school. I really need to read this because it does impact us here at Belleville High School and what this is all about. But I need Ms. Strano to come down here first because I said I would embarrass her. Sunday, February 21st, at the annual awards banquet, the New Jersey Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, Ms. Strano was recognized for her continuous hard work and dedication in education, a total of 18 years. On this night, surrounded by teachers and administrators, Ms. Strano was recognized as the first, let me repeat, the first New Jersey Driver Education Teacher of the Year. We didn't pick her, the state picked her. And you know how I spoke about living in the effective? Ms. Strano lives in the highly effective every day. She starts her day here at the high school. It's like clockwork, 6:20 a.m. in the morning. She's walking down the hallway. That's the type of person she is. Ms. Strano was also awarded with a $275 gift certificate to Flaggers. That money was for her. She turned around and decided to buy or donate the money on items for the physical education and driver's ed program here. In addition, she will be receiving a laptop computer for her personal use and a $500 check from New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Company to use in the PE, health, and driver's ed programs here at Belleville High School. Before we present the check. She's an outstanding person, dedicated. You need anything, she'll do it. She may drive you crazy sometimes doing it, but she does it for the kids, and that's why we're here. Ms. Strano, thank you. Ms. Strano just handed Mr. Rivera the check for $500, the receipt of all the equipment she ordered for the school. We'll pass it on to Mr. Davidoff tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. We have one more presentation for a student. We have a student here from School 7. So Ms. Davidoff, would you like to just maybe assist Mr. Rivera? Oh, is Sophia Vanasco here? Ms. Vanasco, are you here? There she is. Give her, yeah, I'll tell you what she did in a minute. Give her a round of applause. Impressed. Ms. Vanasco did a drawing, and it was the county clerk has decided to put that drawing on the front of their municipal guide. So I have it here. We'll post this picture. Mr. Acosta is going to post this on the website so you can all see it. But we'd like to honor her for being the Belleville student who was chosen.
Sophia, come forward, please. We are so very proud of Sophia. Congratulations to her. Sophia entered the Essex County Poster Contest back in 4th grade, and she is the 2nd place winner. We are very, very proud of her. She did a phenomenal job. I hope you have an opportunity to look at the calendar. Her drawing is absolutely superb. Thank you.
Okay, now before I pass it on to Mr. Egan for a report, just a few things. On the agenda this evening is a a newly attenuated or proposed for the board tonight calendar changes on. Now, somehow the rumor got out to everybody with some of the changes already. I don't know how that happened, but what we are proposing tonight are 3 snow days returned to the district. Right, thank God that snow today that happened, right? And we collectively got together and tried to see what would help out parents and students and everyone. So you'll see that the new calendar will be available tomorrow to go home via backpacks and online and whatnot. Hopefully it's approved. You'll see a change March 28th, which is next week. So parents, please make aware of that. That's the day after Easter. So now we'll have this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for that weekend. You clap, all right. May 27th, which extends the Memorial Day weekend for all you beachgoers. And then we chose an ancillary day in June just in case we did need another snow day. We would have to pull it from there. So June 10th, except unfortunately for school number 5. Boo, I know. School number 5 in January had to close for a water main break. So again, that's going to be your day. So let's clap again. Good job. On April 8th, thank you. On April 8th, which is next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday. No, 2 Fridays. I apologize. On April 8th, we have spring recess or our mid-break there. We will be hosting what we are considering an active shooter scenario. What this is a simulation where agencies from various towns and institutions are going to come and practice live active shooter scenarios, hostage situations, etc. It's called a simulation because they'll be using actual paint bullets, and it's a real calls will be going into the Belleville Police Department. So we're bringing this up now. There will be a letter going home, but I wanted to say it in public for 2 reasons. Number one, we do have a lot of student volunteers. We've asked the teachers to volunteer. I know it's a difficult week, but we're also looking for any parent that would like to volunteer. You can contact my office and we'll get you set up to volunteer. We are looking to make this as real as possible. Unfortunate things happen, and we want to be prepared here in Belleville for any situation. So we'll have the FBI is going to be here, the DEA, the air marshals, a lot of different groups, all the fire departments in the area, and we'll be practicing scenarios. So we are looking for some volunteers, and one of the main reasons why I'm bringing it up now is for the simple fact that this entire area and the surrounding area around the high school is going to be shut down for most of the day. So if you're not aware of what's happening, you're first going to be alarmed and probably make some phone calls, and if you have any travel that day, please stay away from this area. It's going to be bedlam, okay? No, if you're not volunteering, you're not approved, you're not allowed on campus at all. So please, if you'd like to support us in helping us make this a safer environment and preparedness, let me know. You can email me at Superintendent Belleville or give us a phone call. We'll definitely get you involved. So thank you for that. I wanted to talk very briefly about the graduation rate. This is already posted, but I got Mr. Pagano's here. We had an extremely impressive increase in graduation rate from 2014 to 2015. And I want to thank all the administrators, Mr. Pagano, Mr. Durante, and everyone else who helped inflate that rate by putting some new programs in. And I got the tail end of this. This is when I got here last year, so I'm very appreciative of what the teachers have done and just everyone chipping in to make sure our students had all the opportunities that they have to graduate high school. In 2014, we were ranked 26 out of 35 in the county with a graduation rate of 76.4%. And this past year, 2015, we're ranked 17th out of 35, which was a big jump. And our graduation rate was 91.96%. So that's great. Thank you, teachers, parents. Just one more thing. I have to tell you, we do a lot of great things here, a lot of teachers here, so I want to get it out there. I'm constantly impressed by what everybody does here. I mean, you know, I've been around for a while in different districts and in education, and this place is like no other. I'm not just saying that because you're all here. Not only the teachers, but even the parents, the involvement, even the community involvement, the questions we get, the questions we have to answer. It really is a great testament to this town. The music programs, you know, we always talk about athletics, and of course, you know, everybody watches a game or whatever, but the music programs, everything, including the play, just this past weekend. You know, believe it or not, my family background is actually in the arts. My father was a professional musician, so I grew up with all that. I'm completely impressed at what our students, and our teachers, and our parents did with this play this weekend. So I want to just recognize them tonight for all their hard work. I think I probably stole some of the thunder here on the board, but I have to tell you, I was very impressed with this. So hats off to them. Thank you very much. That's it, Mr. President. Progress.
Thank you, Dr. Falco. Local State Monitor, Mr. Egan.
Thank you. Just quickly, because there's a lot of good news tonight, and I hope parents, teachers, and the community can see that we are going in the right direction. The fact that the high school graduation is up is terrific, and as more test scores come in, we'll see that there's been improvement in all levels. With regard specifically to what's going on now, many people ask, still no update or results from the Controller's Office audit, nor have we heard anything from the OFAC audit, and they're still pending. With respect to our finances, you will see as time marches on and the audit comes in that many of the deficiencies in the audit have been fully corrected. The business office is operating totally efficiently, and accountability has been established. My intention and the intention of the district is now focusing on more to focus on the facilities. We promised for a long time, or for a while, and it will get underway, is the committee made up of citizens, teachers, administrators, board members. Will begin meeting very shortly to inspect and assess every building. We would expect the input of the building principals specifically for each of the buildings that they're responsible for, so we can get a comprehensive plan put together to repair our facilities. The mayor and the governing body was invited to participate, and we're still waiting for contact as to which council members volunteered to participate. There's one issue that's out there that it's beyond the control of everybody in this building. I just recently, and many people may have known about it, I didn't pay much attention to it until recently, but there's a great deal of development being proposed in the town. I was led to believe that in one parcel, it's proposed for over 2,000 new housing units to be built. Now, I don't know if they're individual houses or apartments, and, you know, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom apartments. I don't know those details. But if you have 2,000, and this is just one piece of development, if you have over 2,000 housing units, planning must take place in such a way that everything gets measured, specifically the input of how that would impact the school system. The buildings that we have now in no way can absorb a significant increase in school population. If you have 2,000 units, even if you were 50% of those units would have one child, meaning that you would have an additional 1,000 children coming into the district. There's no place to put them. And if it was one child for every unit, the impact on the district is going to be astronomical. With all increases in population, you know that there would be a percentage of children with disabilities, which would impact the special education. Once again, we don't have the facilities for it. I urge everyone to please to think about contacting your elected officials to include representatives of the school board to get input into how they're going to develop these problems. Once again, we're going in the right direction. We just got to work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Dr. Tomko has some changes to the agenda.
Yeah, just very, very quickly. And I want to make this very clear. It's regarding, and I did send confirmation, correspondence to the officials that were putting this on tonight. We have a conflict with a few days in between an autism awareness fundraiser and one of the BEA suggested fundraiser dates. Even though they're not on the same date, that's why it wasn't picked up in the conflict calendar. But I would think that a district trying to raise funds 2 days apart would affect both of those fundraisers. So what we're going to do is we're going to pool number 11 on page 5. March, obviously the one in March happened already. I'm going to work with the BEA to come up with some new dates. I'm sure that the May 13th date is still going to be fine, but we'll work on something to try to get after the autism thing. So that's the first change. And the second one is just 2 additional activities being pulled on page 8 for the Meadowlands Environmental Center on May 12th, and on May 5th, the Jersey Explorer Museum. Due to conflicts, those are being pulled. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tomko. May I have a motion to open for public comment?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Remarks regarding agenda items that are relevant to the educational system. A participant must sign in and be recognized by the presiding officer who must preface comments by announcement of his or her name, place of residence, and group affiliation if appropriate. The individual shall proceed with a maximum of 3 minutes. All statements shall be directed to the President of the Board of Education. No participant may address board members individually. Dr. Sheldon, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and group affiliation if appropriate, sir.
Dr. Guzman, can you put the... thank you.
Good evening, Michael. Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. My question tonight has to deal with the offshoot of item C13, the Sustainable New Jersey Program. I noticed that Dr. Cosmano is taking on yet another task in our district. Let me just back up by saying, as you all know very well at this point, there's been a great deal of community concern, if not outright outrage, following Susan Ravel's removal as principal of school number 10, only to be replaced, even on an interim basis, by Dr. Cosmano. I started to do a little bit of research on my own, just to come up to speed with Dr. Cosmano's credentials. I noticed that according to the Patterson School website, Dr. Cosmano was a 6th to 8th grade math teacher in Patterson through at least the first half of 2015 before he was hired by the Belleville Board of Education in July of last year. He was earning about $65,000 as a math teacher and hired last year for about $95,000. That's wonderful, $30,000 pay increase. Every teacher deserves that much. As we all know, teachers are the most overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated members of our society. But I began to look a little more deeply into Dr. Cosmano's background, and it led me to, of all places, the New Jersey Election Law Enforcement Commission website. Now, many of us know, and I think Dr. Tomko will readily confirm, that in 2013, he was a candidate for State Senate for the Legislative District number 24. So as I began to look through some of the elect reports, surprise, surprise, I noticed that Dr. Cosmano is listed as his campaign treasurer. All right, so I hate to say this, but there's at least the air of impropriety that a hiring decision may have been based on political. So I know you're shaking your head no, but you know very well that we've been through over these last several years where so many hiring decisions were made not on the basis of qualifications, but on your connections to members of the board or other forces of this township. I ask that the board please, since when Mr. Belleville was in charge of school number 10, that was the best performing school in our district. It outperformed almost all other schools throughout the state. I ask that you please reconsider putting Mr. Bell back as principal of school number 10 for the sake of our district, for the sake of our children. Thank you.
Mr. Kister, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and your group affiliation if appropriate.
Good evening. First, I do want to take the opportunity to congratulate the professionals that received awards this evening. I've had the pleasure of working with a number of them, and they are excellent teachers, and no one can say otherwise. My message to them, though, is to continue to strive for excellence and continue to put the children of Belleville first, above and beyond anything else. The question I have this evening is in the addendum C-22. I would like an explanation of that, if at all possible. It has to do with the school and facility names. Is that going to affect any school that currently has been named for someone? It's C-22. It's regarding school and facility names. In other words, school number 8 was changed to the Arthur M. Pico School number 8 years ago, as I was their president at the time. I'm wondering if that's going to affect any facilities that are currently named after someone that has passed.
If you look at 23, the board is going to be voting tonight on hopefully my recommendation to rename, to name the complex at Clearman Field, the Carino Softball Complex at Clearman Field. So nothing's going to change. There is board policy that basically states certain things regarding memorialization of individual places the board owns, which I'm requesting that the board suspend right now for the simple fact that prior boards have already named Connie Francis and it doesn't follow policy. So I want to make sure this board follows policy, so I brought it to their attention to suspend for this, just for this matter tonight. It wouldn't do anything, everything's grandfathered in prior to the other boards, there are other board members here who've said yes to things breaking policy, basically. However, we want to do things the right way here, so the policy committee and I will sit down and hopefully rewrite that policy and bring it to the board's attention moving forward. But we didn't discover it until me doing my due diligence to find that, so that's why we're doing that. So it doesn't change anything that's already been named.
Okay, so it won't affect us at all?
No.
And just so you know, we did bring it to the state of New Jersey to have that changed, just so you know.
The board, the policies.
When we changed the Arthur M. Pico School rate, we contacted the state to make sure that we were doing everything properly.
I have no problem with that. There are certain places that shouldn't have been named. There's a specific reason
Okay.
in policy. So.
But everything else will be granted?
No, nothing is going to be changed, nothing at all.
All right, just wanted to be sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
George Polite, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and your group affiliation with the program.
Georgiana White, Belleville. I have a question concerning D4 and D5. Can you extrapolate on that as far as how that affects the schools and their function?
What it is that...
Correct. Yes. Yes, I have other questions. The statistics regarding the graduation rate, where were those statistics derived from?
These are, this is, oh, I'm sorry.
Keep track of it. Please, keep questions. Answer what we can, and whatever we can't answer, we'll get questions, we'll get you questions answered, and get back to you.
Okay. Well, those are my two questions.
Numbers 4 and 5, we're having the company come in to review the food service contract to see that, because as you know, that is a profit market, is a profit food services here. It goes back into the food services program. This company is going to come in and monitor that program and make sure that the contract is as for the food services, to evaluate whether or not we are properly staffed.
And the statistics?
Yeah, these are available by the state every year, just accumulation of data that we get. So last year's data rate was on file. It's accumulated, I'm sure you can find it probably on NewJersey.com or somewhere like that.
All right, well, thank you for answering my questions. That's good. I looked up some statistics just sitting in the seat there, and for the year 2014 and 2015, Belleville High School was ranked 369 out of 398. The school district was ranked 495 out of 610. The middle school was ranked 434 out of 714. Concerning the school district overall, for 2012, the graduation rate for the entire state, we were at 160 versus 2014 at 294. We are moving forward, but yet we still carry some of the same old baggage. There are things that need to be addressed within our school system, one of which is the rodent issue that we have here in the high school. On more than one occasion, and I don't know the difference between mice or rats, there have been rodents that have been seen both in the home economics classes and in the cafeteria. I spoke about that years ago and I was laughed at. So we still have this rodent issue and it needs to be addressed. I know my time is up, but you answered my questions during that time.
If you want to use your time for question and answer, you still only get the same amount of time. Thank you very much.
Where's that policy at? Where's that policy?
Policy. Motion to close public comment.
My name is on there too.
Which session would you like to speak at? Well, this is the list for number 1. As Mr. Sheldon, Ms. Kistner, and Ms. Polite for agenda. And this is on, your name, Joe Smith, is on the second here. I will call you, I'm sorry? I'm sorry, ma'am? No, dear, I'm sorry. You signed up for the second session. I will call you then. Thank you. Motion to close public comment. Is there a second? All in favor? All opposed? Moving on to resolutions. motion on A, personnel. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Mr. Demikoff?
Mr. Barrera?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamparello?
Yes.
Mrs. Torres? Mr. Valon?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan? And Mr. Rivera?
Yes. There is no curriculum and instruction. Moving on to C, board action, board policy. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there any discussion? There's a motion there's a discussion as to moving the calendar, which is, number 3. So you would like C3 hold separately, is that correct, Mr. Norton? Yeah. Thank you. Any objections to that? Mr. Demikoff, you would hold number C3 separately. Sure. Any further discussion? We'll vote on C3 first, and then we'll vote on the remaining.
This is for school calendar.
C3, school calendar.
Mr. Demikoff, please.
Mr. Barrera? Yes. Mrs. Lamparello? Yes. Mrs. Torres?
Yes.
Mr. Valon?
No.
Ms. Dolan?
No.
And Mr. Rivera?
Yes. Mr. Demikoff, will you please poll the remaining items under C3?
This is for the remaining items on C. Mr. Barrera?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamparello?
Yes.
Mrs. Torres? Mr. Valon?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
And Mr. Rivera?
Yes. Moving on to D, purchasing and business services. Do I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Demikoff.
Mr. Barrera?
Oh, I'm sorry, before we start, this would be everything except for, D7, correct. So all items remaining under D.
Okay, all items except for D7, which we voted on already. Mr. Barrera?
Yes for all items, and I abstain from number 6.
Mrs. Lamparello?
Yes.
Mrs. Torres?
Yes.
Mr. Valon?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
And Mr. Rivera?
Yes. Moving on to E, finance. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mr. Demikoff.
Mr. Barrera?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamparello?
Yes.
Mrs. Torres?
Yes.
Mr. Valon?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
And Mr. Rivera?
Yes. I have a motion open for public comment.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Michael Show, remarks regarding any items and issues that are relevant to the educational system. A participant must sign in and be recognized by the presiding officer. Reference comments by announcement of his or her name, place of residence, and group affiliation if appropriate. The individual called shall proceed with a maximum of 5 minutes. All statements shall be directed to the President of the Board of Education. No participant may address board members individually. Mr. Sheldon, please come to the podium. State your name, your address, and your group affiliation if appropriate, sir.
Before I get started, I just want to let Ms. Cobb know that it's still saying 3 instead of 5. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Michael Sheldon, 47 Clark Street. As you probably remember, back in January, the announcement was made that the board had reached a settlement with Clarity for the remaining contract dispute, and we agreed to pay them a little over $300,000. During the course of that discussion, I asked Mr. Adelstein if this represented the end of the Clarity matter, and he jokingly said, well, as an attorney and have been in practice for so many years, I've learned to never say never, but for all intent and purposes, yes, this was the end of Clarity. So I asked that evening if we could finally have a full accounting of all the costs associated with Clarity, including all the legal costs. And a couple weeks later, I sent Dr. Tomko an email, and he kindly replied to me saying this was an email message from February 9th. Mr. Sheldon, we're working to gather the information, but the task is extremely arduous due to the fact that there are even costs associated with Clarity contracts prior to the appointment of Mr. Egan as monitor. That's exactly what I was looking for. I wanted everything going back to previous counsel, Mr. DeMayo, and previous board members, Mr. Longo and Mr. Frida. I wanted to ask, are you any closer at this point? Can you give us an ETA as to when all of the Clarity information will be finally available? All right, well, it's been about 6 weeks since your email. And there's a certain amount.
I was not here when Clarity happened. I have absolutely nothing to hide with the monetary part of it. So you asked for a lot of information. There's a lot of different attorneys that were involved prior to this firm. It's a lot. We have limited staff. We're down 2 people in the board office. Do the best we can. Well, I don't know what else I can say. Sorry.
There's a certain urgency here. As you know, there's a municipal election actually 50 days away from today. You may say, well, what does this have to do with the municipal election?
Exactly.
It does. 2 of the candidates that are running, the challengers, are directly involved with the previous board member. I'm not going to say names.
Mr. Sheldon, does that have anything to do with what's going on here today?
Sure it does. This has to deal with my request for information. If I cannot, I've given enough time.
The municipal election has nothing to do with what's going on here today, sir.
The board and the municipal government are inexorably intertwined. There's no autonomous operation involved. I've given them plenty of time. If I cannot get assurance that by the end of this month that information will be available, I'm going to have no choice but to over all of it and put together my own accounting. I want everyone in this township to know how much Clarity cost us, not only financially, but how it impacted the education of our children. And to make sure that the same people that are now trying to get on the town council are held accountable, because they're some of the beneficiaries of what happened over the last several years. And as you know, at the end of last year, the town council used its authority under state law to form its own criminal investigation committee with powers deliberately to investigate the board. And if those 2 individuals wind up displacing incumbent members, it would tilt the balance of power on the council, and they could stop any subsequent investigation. So there's an ulterior motive here on the part of some of these individuals who are trying to unseat.
Sir, again, I'm going to ask you, what does that have to do with the educational system right now?
It has to deal with
That's a municipal item. When you're talking about a municipal council meeting, it has nothing to do with the educational process.
It all stems
from... So if it doesn't, it's not relevant to the educational system.
I want the Clarity information.
I understand that. Sir, you should open.
I'm going to. I'll be in the counsel's office tomorrow morning with an offer for everything, going back to the moment that...
That's perfectly within your rights. That is perfectly within your rights.
The other item that I wanted to bring up in my remaining 50 seconds. Last month, I gave everyone the summary tables of the PART data for 2015. Initially, there was some scoffing that this wasn't really going to be meaningful, but again, I think Dr. Tomko, the day later, he emailed me saying, actually, I've looked at this more closely, and I think this might actually be helpful. I wanted to ask you, I know it's only been a month, but have you had the time to begin to analyze? As I pointed out, if you look at the performance of our students with PART, through 8th grade, it looks like our students are doing admirably. They're competing equally with their peers among the state, but as soon as you get to the high school, with the bottom drops out, there's a complete failure on the part of our students with PART. And I wanted to ask you if you've had a chance to begin to figure out what might be the causal mechanism.
Yeah, again, I thank you for that. We have looked at it, we picked it apart, and, you know, I mean, I think it was a good admirable job there, so we're looking at it, and you are right with those points. So we are going to utilize that, and as you said, you know.
I will follow it up in
Thank you.
subsequent meetings. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. State your name, your address, and your group affiliation for program.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Bentanini. I reside at 162 New Street. I'm the president of the Belleville School 3 Home School Association, president of the High School Home School Association, vice president of the Belleville Crew, and chairperson for Boy Scout Troop 350. Recently, some of our parent organization groups were made aware of a hurtful memo that is undeniably the most despicable form of alienation between teachers, parents, and our children. An organized group calling themselves the Belleville Action Committee has intentionally requested that teachers do not participate in the following activities: dress down days, especially those associated with project graduation, volunteering, after-school activities including the home and school events, and other school-related committees. The Belleville Action Committee also suggests that teachers attend Board of Education meetings dressed in a specific color to draw attention to themselves. We understand these things are not part of your job, nor do they prevent you from doing your job. It's the message that this memo conveys that concerns the parents. Besides parents, teachers are the most important people in our children's lives. We send our children to school with comfort knowing you are there. You are the key factor in teaching our children academics, but also some of life's most important lessons. You answer their questions, listen to their problems, and watch them grow. Next to being home, they have spent just as much time with you in school. We're proud of our children and the friendships they have with their teachers. The problem with the details of the job action memo from the Belleville Action Committee, as we have seen and heard about it, is who is behind it. Why hasn't any teacher or the Belleville Education Association tried to find out? There are teachers that are supporting the list of directives as stated in this memo by carrying out the do not participate in the following activities and attending the Board of Education meetings in a specific color message. Who is this group? Who makes up this group? We can't believe that no one would ask or think about the outcome this job action would have. Is there something to gain by carrying out these directives? Parents want to know. While we understand it is important for our teachers to want people to sympathize with the current situation at hand, the methods above are not a positive way to promote that. Additionally, the perception and attention that has been drawn to our treasured teachers is not appropriately represented, and it is an undeserving condemnation towards them and our children. Anyone who would suggest that teachers execute this kind of job action doesn't have a clue what it's like to have a friendship between a teacher, a parent, or their child. This is what puts a wedge between moving forward from the difficulties of the past and striving towards a better Belleville. Furthermore, the tone of this memo is a disheartening tactic that's been used in other districts to draw attention to teachers working without a contract. Unfortunately, it will not be tolerated in Belleville. At the November Board of Education, Ms. Patty Dolan reported the details of the continuing negotiations with the Belleville Education Association. She was informative, and it was helpful to understand where things lie between the Belleville Board of Education and the Belleville Education Association. We believe Ms. Dolan and her committee are trying to be fiscally responsible to the residents of Belleville. We have confidence in this Board of Education and the superintendent. To the Belleville Action Committee, we are not all in this calculated effort to keep teachers from participating in the activities that they share with the students that look up to them. Thank you.
Joan Schmidt, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and your work affiliation.
Joan Schmidt, 61 Hill Street. Through the chair, I want to ask Mr. Tomko a question. On the agenda, you approved the appointment of David Rubin to the position of Acting Director of Safety Services from March the 22nd to June the 30th. Yet when you advertise for a 12-month position for a Director of Safety Services. So could you explain to me what the difference is?
Yeah, the committee, we met with the committee to interview candidates, which we did. At this time, we had first round, second round interviews, and we do not have a candidate, so we're looking to go back out for more candidates until that time. We have to put in an active person in that position.
So you're going to re-advertise?
We have to.
Start all over?
We have to, yes.
All right, I'm just asking. So you're not appointing this Mr. Rubin in July, or the end of the time for the position, for the 12-month position? He's just here for the 3 months?
Or before that, if we can find somebody before that. As of right now, we're just covering for the rest of the year, but we're going to go out.
Yeah, right. They say the 3 months he's going to be here.
Yeah, we have, the board has the board, there's a board, Mr. Rivera created a board safety committee. The committee has decided that there are 2 separate positions now, one for domicile regulatory and compliance officer, which is Mr. Rubin's current position, investigator, truancy officer, and then a separate director for all of the guard, safety services, active shooter drills and whatnot. So we do have 2 separate positions. Until we find someone, Mr. Rubin is filling in, especially with the guards that are, carrying, I hate to call them weapons, but, things of that nature. We need someone to overlook that, and he's doing that on an acting basis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Patricia Wells, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and your work affiliation.
Patricia Wells, 8 Beach Street, Belleville. I'm here on behalf of a student from school number 7. She's a 4th grader. She reads on 6th grade level. In the library, there's not enough books for them to read on the 6th grade level. So if you go to the library and you're reading on the 6th grade level, because of the school only going up to 5th grade, they must have removed the books, or whatever they did with them, or there's only enough books for the 5th graders to get 6th grade reading books if they're reading on a 6th grade level. This is a 4th grader reading on a 6th grade level that cannot get a book out of school number 7. So she's reading things that she already has read previous during her library time. When they're supposed to be taking the books out, and I think that's really a shame because they're supposed to be advancing, not going backwards. So can you please look into this for school number 7 to get some new books in our library? Maybe all the schools are like this, I don't know. But I know school number 7 is like this because I have a student there. Okay? Thank you.
Vincent Frantantoni, please come to the microphone, state your name, your address, and your affiliation with the corporation.
Vincent Frantantoni, 129 Mount Prospect Avenue. In regards to this resolution 22 and 23, in regards to Clearman Field. First of all, I believe you misspelled Clearman Field, it's M-A-N, not M-O-N on that. But why was the, I don't understand before, if you explain.
Sorry, Mr. Frantantoni, I'm having trouble hearing you, sir.
I said Clearman Field was misspelled, yes. Why was the school and facility name policy suspended?
First, I apologize if it's misspelled. That's the spelling that I thought we had on file. I apologize. The policy states that naming a facility has to be in a memorial sense. So basically, anyone the board decides to name a facility after it has to have passed away. We obviously know that's not true for Connie Francis, the delegates that were in the middle school. I think there's a few other areas that happen as well. So I am all for my recommendation, talking with the committees before we met with the full board. If there's someone we can honor while they're still here to celebrate that with us, I'm all for that. Unfortunately, the policy from several, 5, 6, 7 years ago was the earliest I could find, did state that. So I'm asking the board, look at that, because obviously previous boards have already approved those facility changes.
I did the discussion, and there's a reason that most entities only approve on deceased people. Because you have the best person in the world, but the rest of his life he could do something that would make you embarrassed for that honor that you bestowed on this person. And we've got some very good examples right here. But I object to that, and the clearing field right in front of the school there on the flagpole, there's a plaque there. It was presented in 1925 by David Clearman. So this is the late Edith DeFeo and I fought for many years, because several decades ago they were going to tear down those stands. They're iconic. In fact, a movie was filmed there. It was called Lou, Pat, and Joe D. When the film company came in, I saw the people setting up. I was walking my young child at the time. What are you going to demolish it? No. I said, we're a film company from California. This is an iconic stadium. It's beautiful. So I'm asking, because the town created a historic preservation commission that does nothing. I'm asking you to appeal to them to declare Cleveland Field and that stadium a historic site. It only has to be 50 years old. That's almost 100 years old, that site. So I ask you to do that. I'd also like to thank Mr. Egan for, and Mr. Tomko, I know you appeared last Thursday at that 4:30 meeting. Mr. Egan, you asked citizens to speak their elected officials. I and quite a few others have been battling for years. 2,000 units is a little tiny speck. We had a developer, so far we defeated him, on the next to Pathmark. He wanted to put 6,000 units in one project down there. 6,000 units. You know, 2,000 would kill us. And I want the board members, and I don't know if any of you, some people live in Belleville don't understand the geography of Belleville. We are a landlocked community. We have the Essex County Golf Course and the Forest Hill Golf Course in Bloomfield that landlocks us. There's no way to get through Belleville except Belleville Avenue and Robinson Street. You go to other towns, you wiggle in and out of the side streets. We can't do that in Belleville. So we have a severe problem of overdevelopment. With 3.2 square miles, over 1 mile, a little over 1 mile, the golf course in the park, we have 36,000 people jammed into 2 square miles. That's 18,000 people per square mile. We can't afford any development. So I appreciate you two gentlemen showing up at the meeting. I hope the rest of you board members will put pressure on the council to stop this overdevelopment. And when we had no development in this town, when I first came here 48 years ago, we had no tax increases. We got Essex Park, we rolled it big. I mean, in the last 10 years with this development, we got the largest increase in tax in history. And the final thing in regard to that clock, I don't know what you spent on that and what you maintain, but go to your cafeteria after this meeting. For months that I'm aware of, the clock says 2 o'clock. You can't fix that clock, and you're embarrassing us with this idiot thing. So I'm asking you to get rid of it and let us speak.
Mike Mignon, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and your brief for the issue set.
Mike Mignon, 23 Westville Avenue, Caldwell. President of the Belleville Education Association. Teaching is an art. Like all arts, teaching is a gift. It requires passion, a love for learning, care for others, a desire to give, a willingness to put oneself second to others. No one becomes a teacher for the fortune, fame, social status, or even prestige. Teachers are not asking for recognition, credit, or even gratitude. I entered this field from the workforce, which allows me to view the art of teaching from a different perspective. The perspective of those who don't teach. I can honestly say, shaping the minds of the future is the single most greatest contribution anyone can make to society. And I feel grateful to stand among these teachers and professionals who you are honoring tonight, as well as all the teachers and professionals in this auditorium and in this district who you should be honoring every single day. We teachers choose to spend the majority of every day caring for the children of Belleville. We spend part of our salary on school supplies, class trips, treasure box gifts, project graduation, tricky trades, class parties, school sporting apparel, school fundraisers, and the list goes on. We dedicate our time to shop morning dances and trips, attending tricky trades, HSA meetings, community groups, dances, sporting events, Christmas tree lightings, school committees, back-to-school nights, etc. These are not our obligations. We choose to do these things from the goodness of our hearts. We do it because we love our community and we care about the welfare of our children. When has giving of oneself, be it time or money, become an expectation? Where I come from, all acts of giving are appreciated. Although I may appreciate the comments from Ms. Meany, I have to question why she or any parent would not approach a representative of the prospective school or an executive committee member prior to tonight. That much being said, I would like to extend an invitation to Ms. Meany or any homeschool association parent, or any parent for that much, to open up the lines of communication. I will stay after the meeting to exchange information. What most people don't know is due to Chapter 78, our salaries have decreased each year for the past 5 years. In the name of education reform, our workload has increased each year for the past 5 years. Because of poor decisions on curriculum from our state politicians, the art of teaching has transformed into the art of test-taking. Standardized testing is siphoning our school finances, and bad local politics is straining our educational development. With all this being said, your Belleville teachers continue each day giving 100% to their students without skipping a beat. At last month's meeting, Dr. Tomko and Mr. Egan misspoke with regards to the true state of our negotiations. The fact is, the information that the board requested and is still waiting for is not the fault of the BEA negotiation team or anyone for that matter. This information requires input from a third party, and we are patiently waiting also. But this is only one matter of a broad range of outstanding negotiable items and should not hold up the negotiation process. The board needs to get back to the table with the BEA and work diligently and sincerely, in good faith, for the purpose of settling a contract before the conclusion of this school year. This must be treated as a priority and not a burden. Our entire career, we the teachers and professionals of Belleville continue to care for the Belleville children. As we continue to work without a contract, our children at home are being shortchanged. Every year we do more and more for less and less. All we are asking for is a fair and equitable contract.